So this is like the third interview I've ever done in my entire life, so I'm probably going to be really awkward. But anyway, so hi everybody. This is Cleo from Games Are for Fight, and I am here with David, who plays the spine of Steam Powered Giraffe,
Hello.
who I've known for a while, and I know he's a pretty hardcore gamer. In fact, he's the one who got me into Demon Souls. And I thought it'd be nice to do a little miniature interview with him, since, you know, he's got cool music and he is a hardcore gamer. He might be a little bit more of a hardcore gamer than me. You buy, like, every single game on Steam. Like, every time I look up a game on Steam, it's like, friends that own it, the spy.
Well, I don't know if that makes me a hardcore gamer, but thank you.
It makes you a kleptomaniac kind of a gamer. So,
Yeah,
just in case...
No, I don't.
Just... so just really quick, I'm mostly going to ask you about video games because it's a video game channel, but go ahead and pimp your band a little bit for people that are watching this because they're my fans and they have never heard of Steam Power Draft. What is it and why should people watch it?
So as a living, I'm in a band called Steam Powered Giraffe. We are essentially robots that play music, but we're actually people. That's just the characters. So we're robots.
But you're not actually robots, really?
No, it's a letdown, but
shocking.
But if you like people pretending to be robots, you really like Steam Powered Giraffe. It's an all ages kind of thing, but it's aimed towards pretty much anyone who likes good things, I suppose. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
it's
they're
kind of funny.
Beatles-ish music, I would say, folksy. Although you have different influences. It depends on the song.
It's like harmonies and all over songs and stuff.
Yeah, you got some of the barbershop quartet thing going on a little bit, and it's a nice range of music. I really liked your Electricity, my Soul song. That's probably my all-time favorite. But lately, I've been really into your cowboy one because it sounds so awesome when you guys all chime in. Epic and so
that cowboy. Yeah, we have two cowboy songs, so
yeah. I forgot about the other one. You guys you're going from you actually weren't steampunk for a really long time, and then eventually you're like, fine, whatever, we're steampunk, I guess.
Or whatever
or whatever you want to be, baby. So, and my first question, I guess, is do any of your songs or any of your pantomime acts, are they influenced by any of your favorite video games or video games in general?
You know, I think the better question would be is what's cool and how does cool influence video games? Because I think it pretty much all stems from the same kind of creative stuff. You know, if you want to make something epic, you know, you look towards, you know, novels, video games, movies, anything like that, and you kind of borrow what the aspects from those that you like, and you kind of put them in there. Especially when you're like parroting something, like, you know, Steam Powered Draft does a lot of parody kind of, you know, tongue-in-cheek stuff. So, you know, when we're trying to look cool, you know, we're trying to look cool, but at the same time, we know we're
kind of self-effacing when you do it.
Yeah, something like that. But no specific video game influences, but we definitely have, you know, the cool factor of, like, I'm gonna be cool. We're gonna do this ridiculous pose on stage to look epic and stuff. But we do.
Everybody touch your brim like that.
Exactly that.
That was a cool little part.
Oh yeah, that stuff. We reference a lot of pop culture stuff, and video games happens to be one of those things.
Yeah, I've seen some things where I was like, that reminds me of this video game. I actually saw another music video recently that I don't remember the name. I can link to it, but it's very, very, very clearly influenced by video games because it's basically like he goes into this building and he like defeats all these guys, but the POV, all you see are the hands and the feet, so it feels like Mirror's Edge and a bunch of other stuff. You'd actually probably like it. It's pretty cool. And then as far as just regular video games, or just straight video games, like I know you really like games. Your brother Chris or Bunny plays like mostly MMOs. Has Bunny like gone to play a broader range of games? Or
yeah, you know, right now Bunny's playing like Guild Wars 2. Plays a little bit of Borderlands 2 with us, you know, Sam and Steve and I sometimes. I think yesterday we tried some Dead Space 3 because EA gave me a free game because I bought SimCity, and I guess it had a bunch of bugs or I don't know, something. I don't have enough time to know about that stuff. But I got Dead Space 3, and I wasn't gonna like buy it just because I wasn't. Dead Space 2 kind of was like, eh. But
Dead Space 2.
But anyways, yeah, it's always fun playing co-op. Yeah, we play. Funny plays a little more than just MMOs, but it's definitely right now. I think the focus is like Guild Wars 2, but it's all
Yeah.
of our gaming right now is pretty casual, just because we're so
Yeah, well,
busy.
yeah, you guys are so busy. But I know it's funny because, like, as long as I've known you, like, it seems like you play a broad range of games. Like, you'll play one really intensely and then you'll move on, which is kind of what I'm like. Whereas Bunny is always like, wow, 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 Guild Wars, Guild Wars, Guild Wars, you know, like, sticks with one the
Yeah,
whole time.
definitely. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I lose interest pretty quick in like MMOs and stuff. Like, I mean, I signed on to Guild Wars 2 like a few days ago because I'm sick. I'm sick like right now, not like personality wise. People who play Guild Wars 2 aren't sick in the head or anything. But I was like, I had nothing else to do, so I'm like, okay, I might as well play video games or something. But
It's
yeah, that
impossible to
was
play
like,
any of those games you have on Steam. Had to be Guild Wars.
well, I've been like rotating, going through the list of games. I'm like, oh, I'll play a little bit of this, play a little bit of that. Just catching up when that's what you can do when you're ill.
I like to picture you in this big room with all this food, and you're like, I'll try this, and I'll try this, and I'll try this, and someone's like, would you just sit down and finish the meal?
Yeah, as you can tell, I eat a lot of meals.
It's a joke because he's like freaking anorexic. And you guys, yeah, you like started live streaming with the rest of the band where you guys all play like Borderlands and stuff like that. Has everybody in the group been playing games pretty much the whole time, or did any of them just recently come into it through, you guys exposing them to?
I don't see Michael Reed playing too many video games anymore, but we did back in the day play some video games with him. And Matthew Smith, I don't think plays any video games. He's our drummer. So it's pretty much just Bunny, myself, Sam, and Steve. And then, of course, Brianna, my girlfriend, plays video games, and I think Paige...
Oh, did you graduate from casual games finally?
Who?
Brianna.
Oh, well, yeah, I think Minecraft is still her favorite, but she likes Skyrim, a bunch as well, and she even played EVE Online with me for like a few months.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, so many people I know that aren't really into games at all love Skyrim. And it's funny because I love Skyrim, and most of the games that are really simple, like, it seems like Skyrim is kind of complicated. Like, you think casual gamers wouldn't be into it, but I know so many people that love Skyrim, and it makes me happy. It gives me hope.
It's got a lot of, is the word faucets?
Face it.
Yeah. So it's got a lot of faucets. And, cause it kind of satisfies that, like, simness.
Yeah,
kind of
like there's a lot of different approaches.
Yeah, I'm not stereotyping or anything, but I think that's,
I'm not.
I think Brianna would, my girlfriend would fit into that category where she likes hoarding stuff, like, I'm going to go collect every book. I'm going to make this. I'm going to put this there and that there. It's
that college humor skit where it was like episode of Hoarders, but it was Skyrim. It was pretty funny.
But I mean, I tend to do that. I just kind of lose interest because I'm like, okay, I've collected every book. I'm pretty sure there's not, even if I had all the books, they wouldn't fit in my giant library anyway.
Yeah, I know. And do you even read the books? Like, I only read like
I read
maybe
some of the like the Choose Your Own Adventure one. That was pretty fun. I don't know, but that not really. not too many.
Yeah, Skyrim. I could talk about Skyrim for like 3 hours, so I'm gonna force myself to move on, even though I'm like, oh my god, Skyrim. Far Cry 3 is not very much like Skyrim, by the way. People keep saying, oh, it's like Skyrim, but you play Far Cry 3, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any games. It's not too similar to any game, I don't think. But it has some aspects.
Well, they were advertising it. They're like, it's Skyrim with guns. It's like, no.
Yeah, I've seen that. What do I think it's like?
Just Cause 2. It's like basically
it's kind of like a first-person shooter, Just Cause, or I guess the Skyrim thing comes into play because it's first-person shooter and it's kind of open world, but it's not as open world as like Skyrim is.
Yeah.
But it was pretty fun. I played that. Obviously I beat the story and I captured everything and I did pretty much all the challenges until
you got how much for games and you've got all these accomplishments. So
well, that game came out last year in like what, November? Maybe that's not the right date, but it came out last year, so I've had like several months to play. So
yeah, I don't know. It's weird because I have a gaming channel and I feel like I almost never play games anymore. Although I bought Dungeon Siege 3 the other day, so I've been playing that. I guess what game are you, or what game have you gotten the most excited about recently? And what is your mini review of it? What do you like? What do you hate?
What? It seems like there's always some game to look forward to. I think the most recent one that came out was Tomb Raider, and I was pretty excited for that one.
Yes, I really want to get it. Oh, I'm waiting for it to go on sale though, because I can't justify like $50.
Oh,
But
yeah. I guess I justify a lot of. I mean, I did buy SimCity after all, so I do justify purchase it somehow. In my, I guess that's
is
what I
it
do for.
good? Because
So,
like I really wanted to play SimCity, but
oh,
it
we're
didn't.
talking about Tomb Raider. Oh yeah, Tomb Raider is Tomb Raider is it's kind of like a mix of Far Cry 3 and Assassin's Creed. No, I don't know.
So it's not Uncharted like? It looked like Uncharted when I saw
Yeah,
it.
definitely. It's definitely a lot like Uncharted, which is pretty cool because Uncharted is like a PS3 exclusive. And I've played
Hmm.
all the Uncharted games, but obviously I like graphics. I don't know why that's obvious, but I do look like a person who likes.
Because who doesn't? Yeah.
I mean, 'cause I am a PC gamer like primarily now, just because I
The game
I
stories.
want the best graphics, and I have a
Yeah, you've always been pretty techy.
I
I
s-
remember you
uh,
playing like Far Cry, or not Far Cry, Fallout 3 on max graphics, and I came over and I was playing, and I was like, this game is beautiful. Like,
yeah, anytime, and especially when you have like I had like Borderlands 2,
Mhm.
comparing that to the PC, it's like, you just got to play PC, and plus since everything uses pretty much has like an Xbox controller
Mhm.
thing, you can kind of use that with a PC, pretty much
Yeah.
any game that comes out.
If you're techie, that's the thing. So you're pretty techie, so you can figure it out. I think the main draw for console, like for instance, my mom, I just borrowed Skyrim from a friend, so my mom can play on console, even though I've had it on PC since it came out, because she's so not technical. She like I don't know. The concept of plugging in an Xbox controller to a PC is beyond her. So
Since I like the PS3 control a little better, I have to use what is it,
yeah.
Enjoy. So it's like an extra step. You have like, but I do have it on Bluetooth, so it is wireless. And I sit on my bed and I have that, and I have my headphones, and it's like surround sound, and it's great.
Yeah, you have a pretty
I'm spoiled.
immersive. If you have an immersive environment, it really helps. I think add to the game. Okay, I guess this is kind of a lame question, but people keep asking me, so I'll ask you. Thoughts and opinions on what we've heard so far about PlayStation 4 and Xbox 720 or whatever they're calling it.
Well, I mean, I want to see what it looks like. Not that it justifies, I want to see what both of them look like, but I don't think that really will dictate me wanting to purchase it or something.
Yeah,
I don't really care about any of those features like,
yeah, I know,
with
like
a
all the
friend,
socials.
or here,
It's
take
like,
over my controller so you can beat this level for me. I don't really play games like that anymore, and
yeah,
I guess for me, just because I'm so busy with the Steam Powered Draft and stuff, I kind of like the setup that Steam has going. That's kind of
hmm
because I mean, the big picture mode in Steam is like perfect for like someone who's like,
yeah. You were so excited when it came out. You're like, oh my god, let me tell you about this thing that came. Oh my god, like
well,
you were all
you know,
freaking out.
it's kind of setting the the tone for like what's to come with
Yeah.
like the Steam boxes and stuff. Like,
hmm
ever,
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Steam box. Like Steam's supposed to be coming out with their own console. Yeah, I know. Like I don't really care at all about the new systems, except that Witcher 3 is going to be
yeah, but
on
if
the
it's
new
on PC,
systems.
I'll play Witcher 3 on PC too.
Yeah, I don't know. Witcher 2 is weird on the PC. I think it'd be more fun on console, but
I,
I'm not as much of a purist, so.
that was
I don't know. What else? What else should I ask? What kind of game? What's your favorite? Okay, how do I explain this? Like, what do you think makes for really good games, and what do you think they force into games that really doesn't work?
I guess I'll start with the negative first.
Yay, negative.
the I really don't care for like competitive multiplayer because there's so many games out there that have team deathmatch, and it's basically, it doesn't matter what game you play, you can go in to the game and go to multiplayer, and it's like a match based
Yeah,
mode, and like it's just kind of like, okay, what kind of flavor do you want? Do you want to be a
yeah,
knight, or do you want to be a guy with a gun, and that's kind of like, that kind of gets old to me because we've been playing those kind of games forever, and
yeah. I know. I hate too that like. I mean, I used to play Halo online a lot back in the day, and I hated that I would try to play objective modes, and people would still treat it like Slayer. And it was like, I'd be like, come on, guys, let's defend the flag. Let's go grab the flag. Like, I'm going to stand here and snipe. I'm like,
yeah.
freaking, that's why we're playing objective.
I mean, there was a
Sure.
time. I mean, I like some of this stuff. Battlefield 1942. All that stuff is really fun, but I don't know. I just can't get into any of
Not
those
tired
games
of it.
anymore. I mean, I've tried
Yeah.
all the new stuff just to see how it is. I played Starhawk and stuff, and Battlefield 3, I think. And it's all fun and stuff, but it kind of loses its luster for me. I really like co-op. That's kind of the new thing for
Co-op
me. I
is
mean,
so, yeah. I'm
think about
glad that
like
they're
Left 4
finally
Dead
coming
and
out with
stuff.
co-op
I mean,
stuff.
there's some team-based setting stuff that you might try out and stuff, but I mean, the meat of those co-op games like Borderlands 2 and stuff is working together to go kill something,
Yeah.
because it kind of harkens back to like tabletop gaming and stuff like
hmm
Dungeons and Dragons, where there is a player that's against you, but it's helping the experience of a
Yeah.
party, and there's nothing funner than like having a group of friends and you're all working together. MMOs have that kind of mentality too. It's just
Yeah.
you kind of have to be an MMO
Yeah.
person.
And I think it helps with the gamer community too, to make it less, less ruin everybody else's experience and add to your own experience. Yeah, I know, because like Fear 3, someone gave me Fear 3, and by itself, it's just really not that great of a game. I don't really know why so many people like it, but when I play it co-op, all of a sudden it's like so much more fun because, I played with my mom.
Good.
And
if you put co-op on any game, it can actually make the game better.
Yeah, as long as it's actually made, like they actually make it so that it works.
Yeah. Aliens, Colonial Marines. Terrible game. But Sam, Bunny, and I played it all the way through, and it only took us like 2 days of doing it. We only played like 4 hours each day, and we beat it. And I mean, it was a crappy game, but it was fun because of the co-op. And it's like,
yeah.
I mean, the game is fun. It means that it's fun to play with other people. So
yeah,
that's like the selling point right there.
Skyrim, like people were really hoping before Skyrim came out that it would have co-op, and it never did. But some game like that, like where you have Borderlands. I mean, Borderlands was kind of cool in that they had you level up. You don't just shoot, you also get gear and whatever. Although, of course, that comes with the problem that you run into with MMOs a lot, where if one of you wants to play by yourself and the other person doesn't play, then they're going to get, like, way outpaced for you, and that's why they, like, have I think in Borderlands it does it where one guy will have more health points or whatever, depending on your level.
Yeah. It kind of tells you in Borderlands, like, 2 and stuff, like, which players will be good. Match better with you and stuff, but I don't know. I've had some lower level players come in and they like just stand in the back and they'll die instantly, but they get off 1 or 2 shots and they get some XP. But
that sounds like shooters actually, where you don't even have experience, where it's just like you spawn, get killed, Because I know that's like a huge barrier of entry for like Counter-Strike and all those old shooters.
Yeah.
Anyways.
No, I don't know. I think that deathmatch stuff is kind of going out. I mean, there'll always be a game kind of like, Call of Duty and stuff like that.
Yeah, there'll always be the COD fanboys.
But, I mean, I think for most people, I mean, at least the people that I play with, which is basically the band, Giraffe, co-op is the best. I mean, every game that we play is like, does it have co-op? Oh, let's buy 3 more copies.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's good to make it not forced to have it, because like I remember when, did you ever play, what the heck was it called? Chrono something, like Crystal Chronicles for GameCube, which was Final Fantasy, but it was like and it was like you had to buy all this extra peripheral stuff to play, and it was like, that stuff was expensive.
I remember I had a Sam back in high school. He's our third robot, and I knew him in high school. He had that, and it was kind of like you had to buy all this stuff, and it was fun, but then it kind of wears off because it's like, oh.
Yeah, and then you're stuck with all this stuff that you probably won't use anymore. Yeah. I think that's been a big problem with Nintendo, is like they keep coming out with peripherals, like the Wii Fit board and everything like that. I'm like, now what do I do with it? Yeah. And I really hope that they don't do that with the new stuff, because the new stuff they're like, oh, tablet, blah 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 blah, and it's like stupid. I don't really like that. And then what do you think makes? Well, we kind of said co-op makes for a really good game, but what else? I mean, like single player wise.
Yeah, I think. Customization kind of draws me in like no one's business. Like, it doesn't matter what you're customizing. I mean, it could be skills. If you add an RPG element to your game, it immediately makes me want to play because I like progressing. And I think most people do. I mean, you should always have the options, that they don't have to focus on that stuff, because I know there's gamers who don't really care.
Yeah.
But I also, when you're customizing stuff and you can like change the color of your character's hair or your face or something.
Like, yeah.
No one's gonna hate that, I mean, they're either just going to pick a random one because they don't care, or they're going to like spend 50 hours making them in the game or their dream hero or whatever. And I mean, that just makes the game so much better. And it really doesn't matter what the game is either. If you customize something,
I know Dead Rising, you make like custom weapons or whatever. Actually, Starbound that's coming out. You played Terraria, right? You were pretty into Terraria, I think.
Terraria, yes, I played Terraria.
Terraria.
No, I don't know.
I always say it is Terraria. I don't know why. Well, Finn, he went off and made Chucklefish or Thierry, however you say his name, and they're coming out with Starbound, and he was telling me that Starbound, like, it's going to have all this customization. Like, a lot of it will be random, but you can also combine weapon parts and combine, armor and make all this awesome stuff, and even though it's just going to be like a 2D 2D thing. I'm really hoping that they'll take that into the AAA games and be like, oh, I guess people like being able to have control over what they're wearing. Although, I remember back a while ago, I used to just, like, buy stuff from the bargain bin all the time, and a lot of those Japanese RPGs, they're like, super customization, but it was so ridiculously complicated that there was, like, it was impossible to figure out, you know, and it was like, okay, well, I wish I could customize, but it takes, like, 90 menus to figure out how to change the color of your hair.
Yeah, you know, something like, even like Skyrim's customization, or Saints Row,
Saints Row 3 was pretty fun.
Yeah, that was...
Yeah.
Like any of that stuff, like it just adds to the immersion in it, and you can never take it too far either, because if you give the player choices, like they're only going to run with it. I mean, think about BioWare and stuff. Like, I mean, even that was like, it's so. I think one of the main selling points is like, not only is there like a story that I'm interested in, but I can also make a character that I want to look at.
Although, you know, you mentioned BioWare, and I remember being like, I thought it was sacrilege that you said Dragon Age 2 is better than Origins.
Well, I guess the context of my statement would have to be put into.
I mean, the controls are better, but you know, there's like you don't even control what your character's wearing.
I played both games and I enjoyed both of them. I didn't like Origins because I played it on PC and PS3, and they are both completely different experiences. And that's the problem with me is that, well, if I'm playing a PC game, you know, I kind of want it to be a PC, but if it's on a console game, I want it to be a console. But at the same time, it's like I don't want the games to be almost vastly different just because of the control scheme. So same with thing. I think, you know, the Mass Effect games kind of have the right idea. Just because, you know, you can.
Well, that's what they tried to do with Dragon Age 2. Is Mass Effect 2 came out and they're like, oh my god, how streamlined. Let's totally take Dragon Age and basically make it, you know, Mass Effect with dragons. Like
the worst offender of Dragon Age 2 is the repeated use of levels. It's like I'm supposed to be in a different place, but it looks exactly the same. Like, why are all the insides of buildings exactly the same layout?
Yeah, for sure. Also, you know, just the fact that like they're like, oh, your choices totally affect. No, they don't. Like, there's like 2 events that change.
You know, I think, unfortunately, I think the characters in Dragon Age 2 weren't as like gripping either for whatever reason.
Except for Fenris. Fenris is fucking hot. I didn't like it. Yeah.
There were some nice, you know, funny moments and stuff. But when I compare it to like a franchise that I really like the Mass Effect franchise, it's you know, I cared about those characters. I mean, like, obviously, Mass Effect 2 kind of, well, for me, I don't know if it's obvious. Just look at me, it's obvious.
You're just like, everything is obvious.
Mass Effect 2 kind of, like, solidified, like, I care about these characters. The first Mass Effect was kind of like...
Garrus. I was obsessed with Garrus. I would go furry I would go xenophile for Garrus. Well,
I've seen blogs on Garrus, and there's a whole blogs, I didn't want to, but... They're all on the internet, and somehow I clicked somewhere, and I'm like, oh, I didn't see that.
That makes me think of this thing I saw that was Fenris and Anders, but yeah, I'm not even going to get into that because Anders had gone apostate and he was a demon, and I'm not even going to continue with that.
So for one more critique on the BioWare games is why can't they make both controller schemes available? Because like I enjoy the controller scheme, and I don't like having to switch to a keyboard and mouse for a game that can be used with a controller.
I think most people that play on PC don't play from across the room like you do, so...
Well, look at people who are playing like with the big picture mode in Steam and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like those games.
You could write an email and be like, well, nobody reads emails. Write a mail.
I don't think that... I think it's, you know, they don't really throw stuff in there just to make people happy, I guess. I mean, I have like the orb viewer and stuff, so I have like a keypad little thing here and then a mouse, which is fine for like games that were designed not to be with a controller, but it's kind of like they're taunting you when they have a PS3 version of the game that uses a controller, and you're like, but I have a PC version and I have to use a keyboard. You know,
well, you're
I like the options. I like the options to use.
Yeah, there's ways to adapt it to a controller.
Yeah, but the interface is completely different for both games, and it's like, you know, if they made... I'll bring up like a game like Borderlands 2, which is like, you know, the interface kind of adjusts to whatever you're using, and most games do that. So BioWare, I don't know why they can't do that, because it doesn't matter how complex.
They're busy putting in yaoi and
well, whatever it is. Anyway, there's my take on that.
Your 2 cents. Yeah, my biggest critique with BioWare in general is if you're gonna say that you have multiple choices, make sure the choices actually matter. Otherwise, it's completely cosmetic and it's kind of stupid. Because, I mean, like, we have we have studios with 300, 400, 500 people working on a single game now, and I think it's totally doable for them to come up with all these strains. And people say, like, well, what's the point of putting this quest in there if, people probably won't even, like, the majority of players won't even know about the quest. Look at Skyrim. Skyrim is full of content that nobody, like maybe 5 people have found, and it works great, Or do what Skyrim also did and have, like, the creation kit where people can put their own content in. I mean, wouldn't it be so awesome if people could, like, take Dragon Age 2 and program in a completely custom quest or something that actually
interacts? I guess for me, I basically stick to vanilla stuff for every single game. Like, I'll try out some of the custom stuff, but when I'm, like, enjoying a game, I like...
Well, no, I mean, I'd prefer that it was made in studio, but I'm just saying in response to the whole, we don't have time kind of thing.
Oh, definitely. I mean, like Skyrim, I mean, imagine there's so many mods on this with the Steam community and stuff, ever since they released the Steam Workshop and stuff for it. I mean, an insane amount of content. I mean, I know people who are still, turning on, they have all these different mods activated, and it looks crazy. You take a screenshot of the game, and you don't look anything like Skyrim.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like a middle ground.
I know, like they could stuff like with BioWare is kind of, well, it's good. It's good. The story's writing's good. It works pretty well. Just they could do so much more.
Yeah, I think that's the ultimate thing that goes behind anything is they could take they have a good start, but they could take it further. I think.
Yeah, the only one I can't think of is Borderlands 2 kind of like topped Borderlands 1 by so much. It's kind of like now you're kind of greedy with like what you can imagine for a sequel to Borderlands 2.
You really like Borderlands.
So much right in there that was kind of like I didn't even need this stuff, and I didn't even know I missed it until I started using it. Because I mean, it's a first-person shooter with RPG elements, but now it's like just an insane amount of stuff, and the DLC.
It's a really fun game. Yeah, definitely.
It's better than other content, But I mean, it's all like digestible. Like if you got a group of friends, like that's hours and hours of like, and with multiple characters, it's like so much replay value, and I don't know. It definitely hits a market, if you like a first-person shooter and you want it to go on forever. I guess.
Yeah, I know. You could I know I have like 300 hours in Skyrim, but if I played Borderlands with friends, unfortunately I don't really have any friends that play Borderlands. But
not me. Well, I don't have time, so that's the problem.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I know all my fans are gonna be like, "We'll play with you." I'm like, "Yeah, but you're gonna be super low level and."
You can chew through content like crazy. Like someone like me, like I can play video games probably like for more than 4 hours, like once a week. Maybe like for half an hour every night, and less than that, because it gets so busy. But most people will sit at a game from when it's released and just keep playing, and they're gonna chew through that content like crazy.
Yeah, I know. Like when I worked at GameStop for a while, there was this guy that worked there, and he would schedule time off in advance of any game he was interested in, and he would literally take like a week off and just beat that game that week.
It's less. I don't know, because I'm playing with everyone in the band, like we kind of are playing the same games. Like everyone's like a little bit ahead of each other, but we're able to talk about the progress like as we experience it over the course of like a few months, which might seem like what I can't do that, but when you're as busy as
Yeah, I know people complain to me about my Let's Plays taking forever. They're like, "Why haven't you beat this game yet?" It's like because I only release 2 videos a week. Okay, final question. Do you have something else you want to add?
People play too many. People need to get outside more. I don't know.
Yes, people do get upset for stupid reasons. Final question. If you could make your ideal game, what would definitely be in it? What would it be about? What genre would it be? And what kind of features would you make sure were in it?
I think that changes for me. But I'm always thinking about like based on what is not.
Steam Powered Giraffe is a game.
Well, okay. Besides Steam Powered Giraffe stuff, obviously we want to run wild with anything like that. But for me personally, like I would really like something that has I guess kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, because the offering for like fantasy stuff is kind of it doesn't really, it's not as popular as like modern day shooters or futuristic shooters.
It's better than it used to be, at least.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Dragon Age Origins kind of hit the nail on the head with that. And, the Neverwinter stuff.
Dragon Age, Skyrim, Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah, I mean, even Dragon's Dogma, that was like a step forward too. The problem is, something that's well polished. So it would be nice to have like a hybrid of
I know, like, it's funny because so many of the fantasy games are from, like, Poland and, like, all these...
Yeah, The Witcher 2 is like really great, but it's kind of like I guess that what I want is like a fantasy game with the elements of Borderlands 2, Mass Effect, Dragon Age, and
Just take every favorite game, throw it in the melting pot, see what comes out.
Unfortunately, I guess a lot of the fantasy games like that are they turn into MMOs, and that just gets boring for me. So. But I mean, just take a Dungeons and Dragons game, like if you're around a tabletop, like that is kind of fun. I don't really care about managing multiple units and like making it strategy or whatever.
Yeah.
But like a real time, Dungeons and Dragons that's not, Daggerfall or something, some crappy game that they spit out in like a month.
Daggerfall isn't that bad. Daggerfall was a long time ago. Yeah, I know. Like, actually, I just started a new D&D group, and I'm the DM, which is kind of super stressful because nobody else in the group has even played before. So I'm like trying to usher them into how playing. And the thing that's really fun about tabletop is kind of like what I was saying earlier. Is you can basically, if you have a good DM, do whatever your character wants to do. You don't have to follow the straight path, and I think it'd be awesome if you could do that in games. I mean, maybe someday, maybe 10 years or less from now, we'll have AI to the point where we could even have somebody, like, give them all these stock ideas for an adventure, and then have the AI that makes it adapt it for your campaign or something. Like, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But
I think there's a few games that you do, like, rudimentary stuff like that. But I can't think of the game off the top of my head, but I know there's one that creates basically content. Skyrim does a little bit of, I think.
Yeah.
But not like, they're not really. It's very dynamic. It's like the head of the college or whatever will give you these quests to go close a portal or something like that.
It's still like stop.
Yeah. But I think that's the kind of idea. Like, especially something like Skyrim. Like, that's kind of,
Yeah. Branching stories, I think.
Wait, I just thought about it. I don't know what I think about this. Make Skyrim like co-op Borderlands, and then it'll be great. So just put multiplayer in Skyrim. I will be happy.
That's what people have been saying. We're like, we want co-op Skyrim.
I mean, there's a lot of the functionality that to be tweaked and stuff, just because of the transversing, like going inside buildings and outside and loading levels.
Well, like Fable was sort of co-op. I mean, basically you couldn't really interact with it, but we could take something like that with Skyrim, where, like, as far as branching storylines or whatever, like, make one person the main character. Yeah. You could play together without it getting super complicated. I don't know.
Or, if they're going to focus on, because I mean, if think about any game that's like co-op, it's like you're either filling in a role that from a character or an AI takes over, and that's how they kind of work you into cutscenes and stuff, or something like even BioWare's Star Wars MMO, the Knights of the Old Republic, whatever. Or
SWTOR.
Like it's kind of like cookie cutter-ish. It works though. Like
it's a basis. It's a place to start.
Stuff like that. I mean, it's definitely possible, and I think people would eat that up, but who knows?
I would get my fork. Weird mental image. Okay, well, thank you very much. I'm gonna let you go be sick now.
Thank you.
You have any upcoming shows you want to plug?
I don't know when you're going to post this.
I'll post it probably like today or tomorrow.
Oh, so. Okay. This weekend. That's, what is it, March...
20-something.
March 24th. That's a Sunday. We have 2 shows at the La Jolla Playhouse here in San Diego. We in Seattle, Washington, in April. And you know what? Just go to our website, www.steampowergiraffe.com, and take a look at what we are all about and see if there's any shows coming up that are near you.
And go watch some music videos. Hey, do you mind if I like put a little segment from one of your music videos at the end of this video to get them to go watch that video?
Yeah, just send me an email about which one you want to use, and I'll make sure I document it all.
Okay.
For copyright legal reasons.
Yeah, no, understandable. Just because people are lazy and they're like, what, I have to click? Oh, God, whatever.
Yeah, no, that'd be good. You can,
All right. They'll go do that. And thanks for watching, and hopefully we can interview again another time, and we'll play some Borderlands together, because yay games.
Oh yeah. When we have some little more downtime.
Which never happens.
Will happen.